Good evening, everyone. I am going to do a reading tonight on the MAGA and see if there's any chance they're going to turn against Donald Trump. And I'll do a time reading to see what the time period of that is. And before I get started, I would just like to say that, like a lot of people out there, I am very nervous about this Trump being elected. I do not believe he was elected. I truly believe he stole this election. That's not a conspiracy theory. There were bomb threats by Putin. Putin has an ulterior motive to get wanting Trump in office. And I heard on the news today that that Putin actually exposed Melania Trump in some X-rated videos or something. So I guess he's giving Trump a message, right? That's pretty threatening, that he's not his friend and he better do what he tells him. So we are really, if you think about it, we're being run by Russia right now. And what's very frightening is these people that he's choosing to run our government. He's chosen this person to run the Environmental Protection Agency, and his intention is to ruin all of our waterways so the environment will completely be damaged, and any corporation can dump whatever they want to in the oceans, the rivers, the creeks, as long as the corporations make money and, of course, give the Trump administration some of that. So they want to turn America into a corporation, and they've got this border czar in Mexico, and they on the border of Mexico, the south border of Mexico, and he looks like a Nazi. He's going to kill a lot of immigrants. He's going to cause a lot of pain and suffering. And then they've got Stephen Miller. He looks just like from World War II. And so I would like to say this. This is maybe a controversial statement that I'm about to say, but it's really not, and people shouldn't take it that personally, so I'll just say this. I do not understand why Jewish Americans voted for Donald Trump when he outwardly, clearly praised Donald Trump. His favorite book, by fact, is written by Donald Trump. I forget the name of it, My Kump, something like that. And he said Hitler did some good things. So my message for Jewish Americans, I can't understand this because I've known Holocaust survivors, and I've known their families, and I've seen how they were, their whole families got wiped out, and they never recovered from what happened to them. Even decades after the war, there was suicides in the family because of the experiments that went on. There was, and even the generations after that are still affected. So they wiped out people's families and affected them for generations to come. So for Jewish Americans who love Israel and they love Netanyahu, I have one thing to say to you, that I don't know how you can allow the people of Gaza, the Palestinians, to be persecuted, women, children to be murdered. And what is your reasoning for that? They clearly have been persecuted as the underdog with Israel. You know that. And I can't understand Jewish Americans who have this sense of entitlement. I'm not saying everyone's like that, but I do see that. I do see there's a sense of entitlement. And a lot of them don't care about animals or wildlife. They just care about a lot like money, and their own money and their own selfish interest. And shame on you, because, Sir Isaac Newton said, what comes around goes around, that karma is real. For every action, there's an equal reaction. And it's going to bite some people in the ass pretty quickly. Hopefully, karma will use its hand pretty quickly. But I will say to you, followers of this channel, that so graciously give me your time to listen to this, and I believe that we are on the same page. I will say that this is really sad, and many astrologists are predicting that the planets are lining up exactly the way they were right before World War II, and in I believe it's 39, and they're lining up and it's exactly the same lineup. If you don't believe me, look up the astrologist on YouTube and see what's to come at the beginning of the year. There is a huge, huge event taking place. It looks like a civil war. It looks like a world war. And you voted in, or he stole the election. Let's say he stole the election, and some crazy people who don't care about democracy, literally don't care about democracy, voted for him, and they have no idea because they've lived in a first world country that hasn't experienced war since the Civil War. So I even saw comments today from Americans that said, "So what? You lost your democracy." I mean, can you imagine? They don't clearly have never learned in school what democracy means. It means your freedom to speak. It means even the news channels will disappear. In communist countries of dictatorship, people are not allowed to speak against the government or they're jailed. And there's not even allowed to be religion in countries. I mean, this is journalists will disappear. Anyone who speaks out against the government will disappear. And these governors, they're saying, we're not going to let you come in and we're not going to let you take our rights away. Hitler didn't care about that. He went in there with his people and he murdered until he got what he wanted. And that's what Trump's intention is to do. These governors have the best intention. You're not coming in. But according to Trump, he's got the hand now. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. And remember what dictators do. They murder. You have to look at the worst case scenario. They come in with military and they murder their own people. This is not a joke. This is what's going to happen. And I say this to Kamala Harris, Biden. Of course, I'm sure they won't look at my little channel. But to anybody who's listening, they better not sign any papers in January to hand our democracy over to this horrible man who's going to, separate families. He's going to murder people, and millions of people are going to be murdered. And he's so impulsive. He even has said, "Why can't we use our nuclear bombs? Why?" He said he wanted to bomb Mexico, Iran. I mean, the world is going to end 100% if he's inaugurated in January. And I am telling you, people, rise up. And, this man needs to be gone. The Trump era needs to be over. And I don't know why the FBI was so concerned with Iran wanting to assassinate him. This is a Hitler. He said he praises Hitler. Who cares? This man is horrible. So why is the FBI supposed to be working for the United States and our democracy and our Constitution care about that Iran wants to protect themselves from genocide, from Donald Trump, who they're afraid he's going to drop a nuclear bomb on their people? You know what? Other cultures and other religions have a right to their cultures and religions, and they don't want the Middle East invaded. They don't want their religions invaded. They want to live. They have their own children and their own families, and they're tired of being bullied. The Palestinians, the Iranians. I mean, it's not just, America, the world. We have to learn to live with everything in our world. And also, the animals and the wildlife are suffering in America. There's these hunters that are going out and killing thousands of wildlife, and Fish and Wildlife seems to be okay with it. And so that's corrupt. Why has America become such a deadly place for wildlife and nature? And I thought, we were getting better. I thought we're working together. We're going to protect the environment, the wildlife, the animals, and look at who we just got elected, who will destroy everything in America. Anything that any nonprofit organization has worked towards, the Environmental Protection Agency, these animal rights, wildlife rights, he will destroy America, and millions of people will be dead. The nature, the environment. This is not a joke. Shame on you if you voted for him. And if you're in hands with Netanyahu, oh, he's your hero. He's killing the Palestinians, the children, the women. Shame on you. Remember what your people went through in the Holocaust. You have no excuse to support that man. No excuse. So I say to the Democrats out there, rise up, get a backbone. And President Biden, this is not the time to be peacefully transferring power. We won't recover from this man, and you know it in your heart. And I heard your speech. You said you gave this a most amazing speech on the beaches of Normandy a few months ago. It was amazing. And so you clearly know what these people went through for democracy. You know what's at stake here. Don't you dare hand over our democracy. You said when you became the president, no one will ever take our democracy away. I believe you're a man of character. You better stand to your word. You better not transfer this power to that son of a bitch. And I speak for millions of people, and millions of millions of people who died for democracy and freedom in our country. Okay, so I'm going to do a reading, and my reading is going to be, tell me what it's going to take. What is going to be the reason why these Trump cult members, the MAGA people, the members of the Trump cult are going to turn against Donald Trump? Okay? What is going to be the reason why the Trump cult will turn against their leader, Donald Trump, the devil, the Hitler, the worst mistake that anybody ever made in America? Putin's puppet, Putin's spy. Okay, what is going to be the reason why the MAGA people, the Trump cult, will turn against Donald Trump? Here we go. They want lasting happiness to come. They want lasting happiness. So what that basically means is that's what they think they're going to get with him right now. So when they don't get lasting happiness to come, they're going to turn against him. It's the promises. They're going to turn against him because of money. Greed and money. The Ace of Pentacles is a lot of money. And they're going to turn against him because of that. And a message of money. So they're going to turn against him because of a lot of money and a message of money. Greed. And they're going to turn against him because of children. This is children. The Six of Cups is children. It represents families, and it represents animals, wildlife, nature. It represents all that. Disappointment, sadness, and loss of all these things. So he's going to disappoint, and they want to leave the past behind. They're finally going to want to get rid of him, and they're going to have suffering, despair, and loss because they're going to be like, how do we get rid of him now? Right? How do we get rid of him now? But there will be triumph, victory, and like with them being introspective. So there will come a day when they are introspective and they finally start thinking about things. So let me ask when that's going to start. When is that going to start happening? When is that going to start happening? I'm going to do a time reading. When is that going to start happening? When is that going to start happening? When are the MAGA people and the cult members going to turn against their leader? When is that going to start happening? We're going to start seeing that. You ready? Okay, there's our time. Wands is weeks. In 6 weeks. It'll take 6 weeks, guys. That, you know when 6 weeks is? So it's November the 11th. So we're talking the first week of December. The first week going into the second week of December, MAGA people and the cult, the Donald Trump cult, will start showing some very significant signs of turning against their leader. Look at that, Jesus. The candle almost knocked over. That's frightening. That's frightening. Okay, so let's do an astrology reading here. Okay, I am always afraid to ask this question, but as of now, what is the astrology sign that is going to be inaugurated in January? As of right now, we know things can change, but as of right now, the energy right now is what astrology sign will be inaugurated in January? So, oh my God, you're not going to believe what the 7th house is. Guys, that's Libra. That's Kamala Harris. I love it. Could you get any better than that? So the MAGAs are going to turn against him the first week going into the second week of December, and we're going to get Kamala in there. Oh, they're going to go crazy. No wonder there's going to be a civil war that's going to start. Some of those people, though, nutsos. A lot of them are. Okay, give us a positive sign about how Donald Trump won't get away with his evil, and that evil cabinet, they're going to be put in jail. Tell me why they're going to all have justice against them. Good will prevail for our world and all the creatures in it. Rising above. Freedom. This is the peace, and it says a solution. Freedom, solution, democracy. Democracy won't go down, will it? Not after millions of ancestors are standing up. Okay, Jewel, appreciation of our democracy. A spiritual and emotional reconnection is going to happen the first week of December, going into the second week. There's going to be a spiritual and emotional reconnection. Jewel within a teardrop. Thinking of you. A loving thought. Serendipity is about ready to happen. That is when God brings his blessings and shows his hand from heaven down to earth by some very good coincidences, but as they say, nothing is a coincidence. And the Sacred Earth Mother, a message of love from the Sacred Earth Mother. So she's protecting her wildlife, and she's protecting her nature, and she's not going to go down without a fight either. She's not going to go down. She's alive. Mother Earth is alive. Think about it. Think about every raindrop and every cloud and the wind that blows. Even in the Old Testament, it said the wind in the Old Testament, people used to be able to read the emotions of the wind. It says that in the Old Testament, that people could read when the wind was angry or sad or joyful, and it still has that emotion, but we've lost the ability to read the wind's emotions. Just like people say that animals don't have feelings or they can't communicate. No, we communicate with them. I mean, we've had communication with them, but we don't really understand it like we did at one time. There was one time I saw this documentary about India, and these linguists went into the forest of India, and they recorded the ancient prayers of India for the very first time, the oldest prayers in the world, thousands of years old. And what they came out was, they were shocked. It was the sounds of birds. And so the ancient prayers are the birds, the sounds of birds. I looked them up. I said, well, what were the birds saying? They were praising God in the trees, praising God all day long. So the next time you hear the birds, think about that. That's amazing. So our connection with nature, we've forgotten it to such a large degree, but we are connected to everything, and we've become very human entitled. And these hunters in America, I can't understand how they could do what they're doing. I mean, it's so sociopathic. God did not invent guns. For sport, they murder. I mean, no wonder our nation has become crazy. We've set lawlessness by some of our things like Fish and Wildlife. That should have been reined in a long time ago. They're handing out way too many permits to kill. That's not okay. A president should have fixed that by now. And they should have also fixed these electric companies burning up, California, and they're still around. I mean, or the Fire Mitigation Fund, where they just dive into it and they get all this money for it and they destroy nature for it. I mean, the greed has got to be reined in by someone. I mean, really, there should be like a wonderful president who puts somebody in charge of ethics and integrity. Ethics, and they say that Donald Trump hasn't even mentioned any ethics board for his new cabinet. There'll be no ethics, he said. No ethics. Imagine that. No ethics, he said. There'll be no accountability. He said that. Okay. Tell me why we will get rid of Donald Trump. Quicker than later. Sooner than later. Sooner than later. Our Lady of the Whispering Heart, Mother Mary, she hears us. Our Lady of Radiant Grace. Our Lady of Radiant Grace. Our Lady of Rebirth. So we're going to get rid of Donald Trump because there's going to be a rebirth. And the first thing that came to my mind is a recount. A recount. Rebirth, recount. That's it. There will be a rebirth. There's a rebirth of the voting, and it's not over yet. So it's interesting how people were like on the news, he's going to try to steal the election. It was all over the news. Do you remember, guys? He's going to try to steal the election. But what happened when he actually stole it? Was there no plan for the success of it? I mean, it's not funny, but if you think about it, it almost seems like people didn't know what to do when he actually stole it, right? There was a plan if he tried to steal it. But he stole it, guys. Now, where is the plan? Where is the plan to get it back? So tell me why we will be successful in dismantling Donald Trump's evil intentions and this cabinet he's putting together sooner than later. And Donald Trump will be gone, and so will that evil cabinet he's putting together. Abundance. So somebody's going to put in money to maybe the recount. And intuition. There's intuition out there. So people know. They know he stole this. There's a lot of intuition. I've heard this by a lot of people. Not a conspiracy. No, something doesn't make sense here. How many times have you heard that by people? No, there's missing votes. People can't even get access to their votes. And, how did, the one thing that I heard interesting is Elon Musk knew 4 hours before the election was over that Donald Trump won. That's pretty crazy. Okay, manifestation. That's why we're going to get rid of him. And there'll be rest. There'll be rest. So we're manifesting good. It doesn't seem like it. I mean, honestly, I'll believe it when I see it. But that's what it says. It says we're manifesting good. We're manifesting good. We're all in prayer together. We're manifesting good. We're manifesting good. Okay, so let's hear why Donald Trump will be permanently defeated, and the dictators of the world, including Putin and Netanyahu, and all this evil will be gone against our environment, the assaults on wildlife, nature, animals. Tell me how all this evil is going to be gone. Okay, the first card is Priestess of the Gift to Serve. So those who are in service to God right now, or humanitarian service, those who have nonprofit organizations, those who fight for the good in the world, that's how it's all going to be gone. A powerful force for good will win. Good will prevail. There'll be creative solutions, independence of and empowerment of people, and wisdom and knowledge, and Bastet goddess, Bastet. Look at the little kitty cat, and guardian and protector, guardian and protector. So we've got providence. We have higher sources watching over us. God is watching over us. God is hearing us. God knows what happened. God knows he stole the election. God knows he's an evil person. God knows that man is working for the devil, or the devil himself. God knows that cabinet he's putting together, that Stephanik, that Stephen Miller, that guy he just put in front of the EPA to dismantle our water, our pure water sources, and his Putin pocket, and the nuclear war that could blow up our world. God knows what that evil man is up to. Tell me how we're going to get rid of Donald Trump. Tell me how Donald Trump is going to be humbled and dismantled very, very soon. Humbled and dismantled. Expertise. So it says, humility and expertise are required to attain the goal. Help is coming from afar. So there'll be expertise to help us. The Summit of Happiness, very auspicious card. And there'll be great gain, guys. Great gain. And there's going to be a breakthrough. And that said sooner than later. A breakthrough sooner than later. Okay, so that's the reading. And I will say this. Pray like crazy, but prayer is nothing without action. Post on social media about he stole the election. What does it say? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So speak up for the wildlife, the animals. Speak up for democracy, and get a backbone, Democrats. Kamala Harris and Biden, don't you dare hand over our democracy where millions of people have died. That son of a bitch was not meant to be president. He's the devil, and you know he is. Don't you dare hand over our democracy. Thank you.